The Blacklist is a show where an ex-convict joins the FBI in helping them catch a series of extremely dangerous people on his quote-unquote blacklist. Today we're watching Season 1, Episode 7. I just watched it recently and I had to do a video on it because it's just so stupid. Let's watch. So the show begins with Wilson over here going into a train, putting a briefcase, and obviously he's up to no good. He sits next to Ashley. He then walks out the train. Oh, and what a surprise, the suitcase is actually a device to commit chemical terrorism. The suitcase goes off and a ton of people die in the train immediately. Then we switch to Elizabeth Keene. Now, Elizabeth Keene is an FBI agent that is in charge of pretty much everything. She's one of the main characters, and she's always the one who's on the case, along with her partner, Wrestler. Now, already the first thing that grinds my gears is Wrestler calls Keene and tells her that there was a terror attack. How does he tell her? Open the TV. This is how the FBI learns about acts of terrorism, from the TV. She then goes to the crime scene and we learn that 37 people died. This is another crazy thing about this show. Every single week, dozens and dozens of people die in the US from chemical and nuclear attacks, and the world keeps going. Like, the US is the most unsafe place in the world, and people keep dying, and it's on the news, and I don't know how can you feel safe as an American where every week like 50 people die from terror attacks. She gets to her office, she gets a call from Red, who obviously already knows who did it because he's God. Now, this is another thing that really annoys me. Red knows everything about everything. He is literally an omniscient being in this show, and they keep undermining what he says. Like, if I was her, every time he would call me, I'd get butterflies. I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm getting information about something super important. I'm getting tipped on how I'm going to solve my next case. And instead, every time she answers the phone, it's like, what do you want? I don't have time for this. Are you kidding me? This guy solved in 7 episodes. He literally caught like 6 of the 50 top wanted of the FBI alone. And she's still like, oh, I don't have time for this. That's so stupid. So Red tells us that Wilson over here is actually named Frederick Barnes, and he's an extremely capable chemist with access to very dangerous material. Oh, and also Barnes is the most dangerous man in the world. More than any leader of a terrorist group, more than Kim Jong-un, this chemist is the most dangerous person in the world, and if the FBI never heard of him until now. Then we move to this secret medical facility where we learn that they died from an unknown disease that no one knows of. Oh wait, it's actually curse disease. So I don't understand why she says that no one knows about this and then continues to explain about this disease if no one knows about this. And she tells them that it has to do with something called strontium-90, which is some nuclear bullshit thing that they use to accelerate the process. Now, Red, of course, knows this from the top of his head, and he also knows who are the 3 providers that can provide this material, and he knows one of them. And again, he knows what's going on, and he's already 5 steps ahead of the FBI. Meanwhile, our lovable idiots go to the house of the ex-partner of Barnes, and they start questioning her. While talking to her, her son goes in and asks if they can go to a friend, and with a glimpse of, I counted like 56 frames this kid is in the picture, Elizabeth already diagnoses this kid, and she understands that he too has this very rare, no one has ever heard about cursed disease except for her, Red, the doctor, the mom, and the kid. She confronts the mom in the back of the kitchen. She asks her if there's anything she needs to know, and the mom says, yes, I cheated on my husband with this doctor that committed this act of terrorism, and the kid is his. So Barnes and Wrestler get to the conclusion that the reason he is doing these acts of terrorism is because he wants to infect people in Kurt's disease so that the government cares more about it. I have no idea how they got to this conclusion, but I guess. Red then flies to South America to meet this supplier of nuclear materials, but Red isn't actually there to buy the materials. He's there to plant a chip under the table. That's interesting. That's logical. I actually like it. But in the time they get in the car, the supplier calls to Barnes, and they're able to, within seconds, thanks to that chip, to know the number he was calling and track the location of the call. So we learn that Barnes is on his way to a courtroom. Red calls the idiots and tells them that this is where Barnes is heading, and he's about to commit his next strike. So what do? They call someone who's next to the courtroom. They call the police. They warn the guards. No, they drive there. Meanwhile, Barnes is over there already planning the next suitcase. And oh wait, I must have forgotten something in my car. I'm gonna head out and leave the suitcase over here, and also lock the door behind me. So the two doofuses get to the courtroom and they start the fire alarm to get everybody out of there. But once Barnes hears the alarm, he bolts out of there and activates the suitcase. Conveniently, Elizabeth finds him and starts chasing him, while Ressler in the same time finds the room where he was located and tries to rescue the hostages. You know, maybe the dumbest thing in the whole episode, the fire department gets to the courtroom. What does Ressler do? He confiscates their gear instead of asking for their help. You have people who are trained to break through doors and go in these dangerous situations where you have no experience. So what do? You take their gear, tell them, go evacuate the people while you do it instead of them. Ressler gets in using the confiscated gear and finds out that there's one survivor. He helps her out. Elizabeth follows Barnes. She shouts FBI while everybody just ignores her instead of helping her upper hand this criminal. Then Barnes manages to upper hand the security guard, take his gun, and hold him at gunpoint. Elizabeth gets there, manages the situation very, very poorly, and she gives up because he has a hostage. And then instead of shooting her, he shoots the windows and gets away. That is so random. Why not shoot her? Why not shoot the guard? How is he able to get away? Everybody just saw that he was the criminal. How does he get away in the time? Is he the Flash? Even in these dumb shows, there's always like 1 billion cops surrounding the area. But here, they are so stupid that there isn't anyone aware of the situation. So he's just able to get away. He literally runs off to the distance like, he's too fast. Nah, I skipped cardio this morning, so I'm just not as fast as him. That's why he got away. This fucking murderer that murdered 37 people, and now he probably murdered 20 more, but he got away because he runs fast. What the hell, FBI? We then cut to a scene where Red's assistant goes to this nice house and meets a realtor that wants to sell her the house. Then she tells her, my client will pay double in cash. Why? Even if you're so stupidly rich, why would you pay double in cash for no reason? Also, what real estate agent will take millions of dollars in cash and be like, oh, must be my lucky day? Then go back to the FBI headquarters, and the team gets to the conclusion that the connecting thing between the two crimes that Barnes did was that they are completely random location. And the only reason a person can commit a crime in a random location is because he wants to test different groups of people. They deduce from that he's trying to cure his son, and he's trying to test this virus on as many people from different groups as possible. Then we get to the super secret hospital where every room is guarded, where Barnes is already there disguised as a nurse, ready to make a test on the survivor. How does he know of the location of this place? How does he manage to get away from security? How does he even know that this place exists? So Agent 47 over here gets to the room, starts conducting experiments. Meanwhile, Elizabeth does the only thing she knows how to do properly, which is to call Red. So she calls Red to ask for help, and Red refuses because he's not a gumball machine where you can just spin it and ask for help. He hangs up on her, so she does the logical thing. Calls him again immediately and says, pretty please. And he literally accepts. Why not accept the first time? Was that the reason you said no? Because you didn't say please? And Rit doesn't even give her like inside information. Oh, I know this dealer that knows about what he's about to do. No, he just tells her, go to the survivor because that's probably his next target. Oh, and why is he the target? Because murderers don't like unfinished business? I didn't know that there was this rule, and it's not the reason he came there anyway, so it's just plain stupid, but it's true for convenient reason. So they get to the hospital, they learn that indeed Barnes was there and that he conducted the experiments on the survivor. And they figure out that the reasons he did it was to create a cure for cursed disease. So this disease that no one has ever heard of has been cured by this man in 15 minutes. Then they make the only right judgment call this whole episode by going to the house where his child lived. He gets there ahead of them, he body slams his son's mom, and then full on Bill Cosby's his son. Just as he's about to cure his son, Elizabeth gets there, holds him at gunpoint, he says, "You're not gonna shoot me," and then she shoots him. And for the last scene of the episode, Red gets to the house that his assistant bought. He wanders there for like 5 minutes, talks about what great memories he has from this place, and then what he does? Explodes the place with the worst VFX I've ever seen. I remember watching this episode for the first time and thinking like, damn, either the FBI is the dumbest agency ever, or this show is just written by 8-year-olds. That's it for today. I know it's different content from what I usually do on this channel, but I had to do an episode about this. Let me know what you think. Do you think it's as stupid as I do? Leave a comment, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.